Welcome to Pull a Pin Ready, a place where average veterans come to share their opinions on the world we live in. We can't guarantee you're going to like our opinions,
but we promise we're going to enjoy giving them to you.
I'm Jim.
And I'm Mike. Let's pull the pin.
Awesome. So we're going to do a little something different. We're going to go ahead and invite some veterans in, and Mike's going to tell us what we're going to be talking about.
Well, Jim, I think one of the most important things today to talk about is this Capitol building fiasco. I think it's good to hear from vets instead of these everyday average citizens out here.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk going on around, what veterans think and all that stuff. So what better way than to ask them? Exactly. So we got a couple questions lined up for you. You want to start with the first one here?
Sure. Who you want to go to first? Let's go with Ryan. Can you see
Ryan.
That, Ryan? How do you feel about what happened at the Capitol?
Man, I think it was sad, completely disrespectful, but I think it was the natural progression. I mean, we've allowed rioting in the streets for so long now without any police intervention or minimal police intervention. I don't think you had any option, but this is the next step. I mean, they're looting businesses and everything else. Why not go to the Capitol and do it? You can only push people so far.
Okay. Okay, who's next?
Tim, I believe. Tim is on the mic.
I agree with Ryan. It was sad to see that happening, but I think it was caused by a lot of what's going on in Washington. They're giving so much leeway for other things like the rioting and everything that happened all summer long, burning businesses, things like that. And it's the progression, just like Ryan said.
Yeah. Okay, Wags.
Yeah, as a veteran, I'm definitely, disappointed with some in our nation that would get to this level of violence and desecration of our government buildings. I feel like, I don't know how the other vets feel, but I definitely feel like I serve to promote democracy and to do my part for democracy, but what's happening is not part of the democratic process, and it's not what I was serving to represent. It doesn't include freedom of speech. Doesn't include the lengths that these people went to damage property and to threaten people.
Okay.
All right, moving on to the next question. Yeah.
Hey,
now, Mike, I was going to tell you, feel free if you need to clarify or you want to clarify something some of these guys answer, just to the people out there, that might be confused. But we're not going to really debate with them. We'll just clarify anything.
No, it's not. No, I like it because it's what had to me, guys. Excuse me. What happened is I don't think there's really a debate for it. I think the only thing that is worthwhile debating is our responses, if you will, as
right.
As the public, and people have mixed feelings about it. It's just like some of you guys alluded to with the what happened last summer and everything. So, and it's just a progression. I honestly agree with that. Let me it's a follow-up before we hit that next question, Jim. What do you guys think? Now, it's kind of like you guys say it's a progression, right? So what about, do you think they're going to react differently now when the next thing happens? Because it's kind of like the fight was taken to them being the politicians in the federal building. So do you think their reaction towards any type of demonstrations is going to be different now?
Is it me first, I see?
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't think so. Honestly, I think they're naive enough to believe that they're above it. They're above the law.
Wow.
I really do. I mean, that's just my opinion of the government at this point. I mean, I love them. I serve for them, and I mean, I die for them. I die for this country. I wouldn't die for them necessarily, but I die for this country. But I just don't feel like. I think it's got corrupt, to be honest with you. I mean, it's been corrupt. I believe that, honestly. But it's to a point now where people don't feel like they have a voice. So that's why that kind of happened what happened. But I don't think they'll react any differently. I really don't. I mean, it got taken to them, but they got away scot-free. I mean, who of them got hurt? Yeah, 4 people died, but it wasn't any of them. So
Right. Okay. What about you, Tim?
I don't think the politicians are going to change. I wish they would. I wish they would take it serious.
Mm.
But what they did in Seattle, they didn't take it serious. What happened throughout the entire country, they didn't take it serious. I mean, Seattle, they barricaded and had an autonomous zone. We're no longer part of the United States.
Mm.
And they didn't even take it serious then. They were like, oh, it's okay. I don't think they're going to change. I wish they would change. I wish they would start listening to the people, but I'm afraid they're not going to.
Mm. What about you, Wags?
I think when it comes to the right to bear arms, I think some of them may have thought about their position a little more clearly when they were running like schoolgirls out of the Capitol building. That's I guess.
Mm. Okay. All right. Jim, what's that next question? All right, with regard to the storm on the Capitol, is that the one?
Yeah, with regards to the storm on the Capitol, what do you think is happening in our country for Americans to feel it's okay to do with what they've been doing, what they did? I guess you can probably include that in even the past riots and things.
Exactly. I don't think there's been anything. Nothing's happened. That's the problem. I mean, they've been riding for so long now, and there's been nobody saying stop. There's been no real show of force or anything to make them stop doing what they're doing. So I don't think that. I think they feel like it's okay because I think they feel it's our turn. Now we get to ride. Now we're going to take it to the next level. I don't think there's any. Anything that I think that's what makes it feel like it's okay. The media sensationalizes it, and they feel like it's good to go. We can do whatever we want.
Okay. All right, Tim.
I believe on both sides, Americans don't feel like they're being heard. I think they're speaking up. They're telling their politicians. They're telling their representatives who aren't representing them. They're representing themselves. And I think people are just tired of it.
Yeah. Wags.
Yeah, I agree with both the other gentlemen. I think we're definitely seeing a normalization of, I don't know, call it extremism, violence, and I don't know. I think what these other guys said, I think it's been happening long enough, and the numbers are just so massive. I mean, how do what do we expect on both sides of the aisle? What do we expect the government to do? To quench violent protest when they get so out of hand. As the size that they do. I think it's a challenge for our government on what is the right thing to do. How much are they going to do to de-escalate, and when are they going to use go hands-on and actually try to move crowds from point A to point B. But I think it's just an overwhelming number, and I think it's going to increase. And definitely agree with what these guys said about wanting to be heard. And not that that's an excuse for what happened. I feel like I told my wife as soon as this happened, I said, watch, the right is going to say that these guys that did this don't represent the right. They're going to immediately try to throw out there was planted, people in the crowd, and these don't represent our views, and these were infiltrators that did this. It wasn't us, and that's, was expected. Shortly after that, I heard that, and that was an expected response. But I feel like if it was people on the right, which I assume it probably was, it's interesting to think that just like when we see it happen on the left, we assume that everybody that's on the left would be part of that and represent that and want that violence. And now that it comes from the other side, which isn't, as common from my perspective, I think it's interesting to also kind of look at it and think that, hey, that doesn't necessarily represent everybody that was out there protesting and that whole group, and that mindset doesn't reflect, the right's point of view or what we believe.
Or just the personnel that were there. You know, some people say 80% were peaceful, 20, I'd say 90. I'll shoot it up to like 90, 92%, whatever. But I always say that 90% probably was not represented by the other 10% who did what they did at the Capitol building, you know. But I think you hit the nail on the head as far as the responses, Wags, is that you know, when the other side does it or other people do it, you know, you're gonna paint everybody with that broad brush of negativity, then you have to accept it when it comes to you. You know, yeah, you're always gonna have those bad apples out there.
And if I can add too, there's still more information coming out. I mean, even now, you know, days later, there's still more information coming out with arrests and who was involved. And, you know, that the storm happened while the speech was still going. And I mean, there's still so much information coming out. It's amazing. All right.
What do you have next there, Jim?
Do you think this is about President Trump or something else?
No, I don't think this is about President Trump as much as it is just people not being heard. There's no path to express yourself anymore. I mean, to be able to go out there and get your opinion, like somebody said earlier, the politicians are working for themselves. They're not working for us. I mean, they really aren't anymore. So at this point, you just feel like no matter what you do, you're not being counted. You know, your vote doesn't count. Nothing counts. So I think this was about, you know, making a stance. Honestly.
Oh, wait, what about you, Tim?
I don't think it was about President Trump. I think it was about, like Ryan said, just things going on in Washington. I think President Trump enabled it, however. I think he has shown us a lot of things that we didn't see in the previous administrations, whether it was Bush or Obama. I think he's pulled back some curtains for us to see that man back there just pulling the levers and pushing the buttons, and we're tired of it. And if we say anything, whether it's left or right, if we say anything about stop police brutality, oh, well, you know, there's not, you know, there is. And if we say, well, stop giving $60 billion to Pakistan for research, yeah, stop it. But they're not going to, unfortunately. I wish they would. So was it about President Trump? No. I think it was about the way we feel about Washington anymore. But I think President Trump is what allowed us to feel that way about Washington. I think he's stopped the media from all the propaganda. Well, it's this, and this is wonderful, and this is beautiful. And no, it's really not. It's really disgusting.
Wags?
I don't think President Trump's presidency really is about President Trump. So I agree with these other guys. What I say when I say that is the whole reason, in my view, Trump was elected was people were tired of not being heard and tired of the same old routine, and they wanted to show themselves, each other, their families, America, as, hey, we are so sick of this, we would elect this man who has no political background, who has no, you know, if you listen to most, had no chance of election. We're so tired of the same thing, we're going to elect him. And I think it could have been a dozen other people that were from the outside that got elected besides President Trump. He was just the one running that was an outsider. And so, yeah, I agree with him. It wasn't, I don't think it was really about him. It was about the ideals that they believe in, and as it's been said tonight, the lack of representation.
Cool. Well, you know what? I'm going to disagree with all three of you.
That's okay.
Now is not your time to speak, though.
No, I've been joking. I just want to put levity in there.
This is serious, Mike. You need to take it serious.
Okay, sorry. All right, what's next, Jim?
All right, and one last question we're going to ask here. Where do you stand on where the directions of this country is going?
You know, I worry about it personally. I mean, it scares me because I don't think they learned anything from anything that's happened. I really don't. I think they're patting each other on the back, how good they're handling this, and that they run right out and, you know, kick Trump out again. You know, I mean, it's stupid. It's so petty at this point with 12 days in office and they do that. That's stupid. But I mean, I really don't think they've learned anything by America's reaction to them. or not just America, I guess, but I mean, to the riots on any scale, whether it's in the streets or whether it's in the Capitol, and they just haven't learned anything from it. They think they're doing a great job. They're looking for the next check to come in from the big tobacco or whoever else is next, putting money in their pocket. That's all they care about is lining their pockets. So I don't think I worry about the direction of the country. I really do. I don't foresee it. I guess I'm glad I'm 45.
Wow. Wow. That's deep. What about you, Tim?
I'm glad I'm 56. I think we've seen something very similar to this in France, and I think they set up a guillotine.
Wow.
I'm not happy with the direction of the country. Like I said, I'm worried about it. Like Ryan said, it's scary. And unless the politicians want to start listening to the people, they've got 300 million people to answer to, whichever side it is.
Yeah.
And they need to start doing that.
All right. Wags?
Yeah, I definitely agree with both gentlemen. I fear, have a bad feeling in my stomach whenever the National Guard is called up to help with civil unrest. And to me, we're kind of, and I know that the legalities and et cetera of such of your full-time active duty military, not National Guard, being called for civil unrest. But I mean, that's the next step. When you have rioting that's that out of control, then if you have no other choice, it's overwhelming your National Guard, it's overwhelming your law enforcement. The next step is to try to change policy to have, active federal troops on state lands to help the states to protect businesses and property and lives from civil unrest. And going towards that direction, for my political views, is scary. Last thing I want, as much as I love the military, last thing I want is active duty soldiers patrolling the streets downtown where I live. So I hope we can stop and turn this thing around before it continues to get more and more out of hand.
I agree.
Something about those them calling in the National Guard, and then they want to vet the National Guard because we're not sure about them. We're going to call the National Guard, but we only want those guys. We want those 200. The other, you guys can leave. We don't need you. And
Doesn't matter
here.
Doesn't matter what state the National Guard's coming from.
I bet they're real happy they didn't defund the Capitol Police now.
Nice. All right.
Some people will say, or have said, they did defund them. That's why the security was lacking.
Right. Well, unless anybody's got something more pressing, I'm going to bring in some other vets. You guys got anything more pressing you want to say here? You do? Go ahead, Wags.
Hey, I appreciate you guys, man.
Oh, I thought you were saying yeah. All right. Yeah, thank you for your time. You guys feel free to wait in the lobby or do whatever you want to do, but you can go. And I thank you so much for your time, guys. It was awesome.
Appreciate it, guys.
Appreciate it.
You bringing Brian back in?
Yeah, Brian wasn't in. Oh, you didn't like Brian in? Sorry, Brian.
Okay.
Joe, you got the mood going on in there. Well, welcome, gentlemen.
Good girl.
Don't let anybody talk about my daddy. All right, so just in case you guys didn't see what was happening or hear what's going on, we're just going to ask a series of questions. We're going to go ahead and take turns, and right now Brian's going to go first on Tavius and then Joe.
That's Rick James.
Yes, that's it. All right, Mike, you want to get us started?
Yeah.
And we'll pop the first one up there.
Hey, okay, we're gonna start with Brian, right? So
Yeah.
how do you feel about what happened at the Capitol?
I think it was nonsense. I think it was crazy. I think it was unacceptable. And I think the people that were involved need to be held accountable, which I'm sure they will be. Some of them. Maybe some of the government too. And that's another matter.
Yeah.
But I just think it was ridiculous. It's no different than the Seattle. It's no different than Portland. I think all those people need to be held accountable. I think there needs to be more control of those situations, and that's the problem. I think, in my eyes, is that I mean, it's the Capitol building. This ain't downtown Seattle. This was the Capitol building, and these numbnuts got through. I just think it. I think it was ridiculous. But yeah.
Okay, Dontavius.
I think it's over the top, man. I hope that it, I hope it can, I guess, downgrade to being, a peaceful protest, rather than, full blown rioting and people losing their life and destroying property, because it's, that's destroying businesses, that's destroying people's lives that had nothing to do with it. I don't know, man. I just hope that it downgrades and, kind of just people get in line, and not get in line, but that sounds terrible. But I just hope it downgrades to a peaceful protest.
Got it. Chester Kane.
Si, senor. I agree with both of what these guys said. I don't like. I mean, yeah, it should have been peaceful. It's ridiculous that it wasn't. It's just ludicrous. That shit shouldn't happen. Pretty much dumbfounded by it, but I think that our country needs to handle these situations a little better. And once you turn into a criminal, you got no rights. Put a bullet in them. You're breaking into the Capitol building. Fuck that. Kill them. Just fucking kill them. I'm sorry, but I mean, if I break into your house, am I allowed to break into your house, or should I expect some deadly force? I don't care if it's in Seattle. I don't care if it's in Washington. I don't care if it's right here in my house. You cross that line. I have a bullet for your head. And it's as simple as that.
Sounds like you made it out of DC in time.
Now let me tell you how I really feel. I don't think it's acceptable, and it's ridiculous. And we need to peacefully protest if we're going to do shit, not be breaking and entering and destroying innocent people's businesses or destroying taxpayers' money or whatever. It's just, I don't agree with it either.
Okay. Mike,
Right.
Hey, hurry up, Jim. Let's get to the next question.
Yeah. All right. With regard to the storm on the Capitol, what do you think is happening in our country for Americans to feel it's okay to do this?
Right?
Yeah, I don't think that, it's a mob mentality thing. I think when you get that many people together and you got a couple nutcases, you got a couple guys that are, decide they want to get a little crazy, people follow. You know what I'm saying? That mob mentality thing. I don't think everybody was planning on doing that. I think, again, there'd be more information coming out, but I don't think everybody was planning on doing that. I think people got rowdy. People were feeding on what was being put out by a few of them, and everybody just followed suit. And I don't think that they think it's okay. I think the problem is that we have a pandemic going on. We have a lot of people losing jobs. We have a lot of people sitting at home just ingesting this media and just like this sensational media, and they're just eating it up. And I think there's a lot of negativity. I think we're in a winter right now. That's just what I think. I think we're in a winter. Not to get philosophical, but I think everything comes in waves, right? And I think we're in a winter. I think we'll get out of it. I think we're Americans. I think eventually we'll get our shit together and come together on this. You know what I mean? I do have faith.
All right, Dontavius.
I don't think people feel that it's okay to storm the Capitol. I think it's more so people are just tired. They're fed up. We over here stateside, we're struggling. A lot of businesses are failing, and people are finding it hard to feed their family, and we're giving money to all these other countries. It doesn't sit right with the people, and not to mention when you have leadership acting a fool on social media, not professional at all. I had a lot of hope for Trump, because I felt like of all the politicians, he was actually one of us, just a normal person, not no political background, no political affiliation. I know a lot of people felt like, all right, that's going off a tangent, never mind. But I just feel like people I think people are just fed up. They don't really care anymore whether it's okay or not. It's just this is how I feel, and this is like I'm taking it out. I'm bringing it to your doorsteps.
Mm. Do you think that our politicians will react differently now? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chester. My bad. You can go ahead and answer the question. Sorry.
I'm used to you cutting in, so it's all good.
No. Go ahead, man.
That's what I thought was happening.
I would have to say I agree with both of you once again, and that's the benefit of being the person that's last to speak. I can agree with everybody, and it's awesome. But yeah, absolutely, people are absolutely getting fed up, and I think that I do agree that I think that things will get better in due time, but I also think that there needs to be some changes. And everything, whenever anybody talks, the first thing that pops into my mind about just changes, fucking term limits, for God's sakes. Term limits. This retard that's coming to be our president now for, a week till he dies, he's been there, 47 years? Are you fucking kidding me? No, sorry about that word. Are you kidding me, dude? What, 47 years? He really hasn't done a lot of anything. He can't even remember his name now, and he's going to be our president. I think Kamala, the Rastafarian, I think that maybe she'll turn things around for maybe 3 years until we get a real president in. But it's just, I don't know, man.
Okay, that's a good answer.
Jim, what's the next question?
Okay, and the next question: do you think this is about President Trump or something else?
Brian, hurry up.
I can't wait for Kane's response, brother. I just can't wait for it. But I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's a mixture of things. Like I said before, I think this is very dynamic. I think there's a lot of things going on. I don't think Trump is the person to blame, but like it was just said, I'm disappointed in Trump too. I thought maybe that he would be the non-politician that gets in there and stirs things up, which I think he did to a sense, but I think he took it a little too far. But and not to mention, the crazy thing is that Trump has talked bad about veterans too. So I don't agree with that part either. So I think he took it a little too far, and I didn't see that coming. I should have, knowing who Trump is, but we got to see the real Trump this last 4 years.
Okay.
I don't think it's necessarily all about Trump, because, I mean, to my knowledge, I don't know if there was any riots when he was elected president. So I don't think it's really, about him. Like I said earlier, I just think it's more about people are fed up. It's kind of like you're slapping us in the face and telling us that you're not doing it. No, it wasn't me. It was like it's just like you're playing us as a fool, I guess. And people are just kind of starting to stand up and wake up, and I don't want to say rebel or revolt or whatever, but I guess in a sense that's just what it is. Now I don't want to throw out revolution or whatever, but yeah, I mean, yeah, that's my answer.
Oh boy.
Let's hear it, baby.
What's up, guys?
Do you remember the question?
I don't think it's about Trump.
No?
Not really. No. Just for the record, I was voting for Kanye. All right. I wasn't voting for Trump. I wanted Kanye. But I thought it was a good idea at first to have Trump. I thought that he's not owned by anybody, and I thought it would be pretty cool and awesome to have somebody that I still don't understand what his agenda was. At 74 years old, billionaire, why would you want to be president to begin with? unless you really do want to make the United States great again. I don't know. It's what it is. I think not sure what I think, man.
It's okay. It's okay.
Shit's
Next
crazy,
question.
man.
That's an acceptable answer and a perfect segue into the next question.
Yes.
There you go, man.
Where do you stand on where the direction of this country is going?
Brian?
I don't know where I stand. I don't. That's a really tough question. I have faith. That's what I know. I have faith in this country. I have faith. I've seen it with the brothers I've served with, just like guys. You know, we can be crazy at times, but we get shit done. And I hope that's what happens here. And I hope there was things that were brought into light, and maybe we could fix it. You know what I mean? Maybe this is going to start, but we need to do it in a constructive, the right way. You know what I mean? We can't be just getting malicious. You know, that nothing comes from a revolution. Nothing good usually comes from a revolution. You know what I mean? It takes a long time to recover from things like that, in my opinion. But
David?
Well, I mean, I'm a biblical person. I believe in the Bible. So where I stand on it, I think things are going to get worse. Don't want to turn this into a religious show, but yeah, that's my stand.
All right.
Well, that's where I'm at. That's where I stand.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow. What?
All roads leads right back to Chester Kane. Go ahead.
I agree with both of you. I think that I think shit is going to get worse, but I do believe that it will get better. I think that I still feel as though something's going to happen. Like, you know, we're going to get gas prices $5 a gallon again, and the market's going to crash, and the housing's going to crash. But I think we'll recuperate from it and be a better country. But I don't.
Hey, before we get to the next question, guys, do you guys think that politicians will respond differently to protests after this last Capitol building incident? Brian?
yeah, I think without a doubt. I think you know, having it in the cities, in the big cities, you know, what I mean, local government doing their thing. But when you have a Washington like that, I think they're gonna take more precautions. Things are gonna get a little more strict. I hope. You know what I mean? Because things like that can't happen. This not on the Capitol, man. Not on the Capitol. Like, they should have some serious defense up for that. You know what I mean? And a plan. I mean, you know how the military is. We have a plan for everything. They should have had a plan in place. You know, to bunker down or whatever. And again, I wasn't there. I don't know how good it was or how bad it was or what went wrong. You know, we all learn, right? You know, there's going to be 100-page paper with a plan after this. You know what I mean? For this not to happen again, I'm sure.
Right. Antavius?
I think Congress will respond by, you know, going to a different extreme. I don't know what those extremes are. I'm sure they'll beef up security around the Capitol, which should have been done in the first place. But I don't know. I think they'll respond probably drastically to this. What will be done? I don't know.
Chester?
To be totally honest, I'm dumbfounded at what went down. I'm still pretty stymied at the fact of how they breached security, and I think that I think that there's going to be some changes made for sure, because that shit can't happen there. It's just ridiculous. As for the politicians, most of them are pretty much panty waists, so they're not going to do shit. They're just going to hide in offices like they did anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I would say arm people. Arm all them fuckers. You breach that shit again, you die. You
Got it. Yeah.
That call was made on question one, yes.
I don't know what else to say. If you come on my property, I'm going to shoot you. It's
once again, this was question one.
Hey, Chester, the Democrats are taking office, dude.
There will be no more guns.
That's why I have.
I think you're forgetting. That's.
I'm ready, but it's just.
Wow. I hear you. Hey, Jim, you ready for the next question?
Oh, there is no more questions, Mike. Now,
Yes,
let's see. Say whatever their pressing, dying desire is right now to say before we can excuse them from the office.
Anybody want to have a last word on the topic?
I want to add in on that. Just I like Dante said earlier, about the money being, we spend all this money overseas and stuff, and I think that's like one of the biggest things that I think is finally hitting home people. You know what I mean? That passed in that stimulus and all the other stuff that's passed. I think it's really hitting home, and I think there is going to be a change. But I totally agree with what Dante was saying with that. I mean, but I hope it does get eventually, Dante. I hope it does, brother. I hope it does.
Yeah. I mean, that stimulus, they gave you just enough to pay your water bill, right? That should help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a subject I didn't even want to touch about that money going overseas.
Yeah.
Really? You're gonna
Oh, my bad.
transgender or some shit like that?
Right.
What? Are you kidding me? You could give everybody in the States $1 million a piece, for God's sake, instead.
Well, it probably wouldn't be $1 million, but
we'll be in some debt.
Well, I think the point to that, Dante, is we're still in debt. It's like we just gift a lot of money away to these foreign countries. As far as we know, they don't ever pay it back, and they don't have to pay it back.
Right. Isn't that funny how we send billions of dollars overseas and then we go borrow billions from this guy over here?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
It doesn't make sense.
That's
But
another
see,
thing.
no one ever asks these politicians those hard questions. You might see it in some debate forum or whatever, but in that kind of forum, they don't have to answer the question. They can spin it, twist it, and then they just don't have time. They have to go on to the next thing.
These reporters know Uncle Sam don't play about being embarrassed.
Right. Yeah.
It's just
Absolutely.
You guys are all Army boys, right?
No, you and Brian are the seamen in the room.
Oh,
We got enough seamen here to make a. Never mind.
I don't know how much shit you guys have done in the military, but another thing that pisses me off, we go bomb a place and then we help them build it back up. I mean that's ridiculous too.
With a $2 million soccer field.
Yeah.
Just like Hiroshima. I mean, we helped Japan get back.
I have a feeling we're going to make a whole nother episode. We might want to try this again. But for this one, guys, we're going to.
Chester's coming back.
We're going to tell you. Thanks for joining us.
If you want more of this, catch me on my YouTube channel.
Thanks for taking the time, guys. We appreciate you. Welcome to hang out in the lobby while we close this out. But we thank you for your time.
Hey, appreciate you guys coming on, man.
Yep.
Mike, you need to wear a do-rag.
I need to wear a do-rag. He said, God, that dude.
Anyways, that was real fun. It was good to hear what some veterans had to say. We'll probably have another one out for you too, because we're going to try to do this as often as we can, so you guys can get real feel what actual average and some above average veterans feel about the world we live in.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you guys tuning in. We hope you tune into the next episodes and subscribe and all that. Until then, Godspeed.
And pull the pin.
Thanks for joining us here at Pull the Pin already. We hope you had as much fun as we did. If you like what we do, go ahead and hit that like button and share this video with a friend. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button so you don't miss out on any of our future episodes. But most importantly, leave a comment below. Let us know if you agree or disagree with our opinions. Hope to see you here next time on Pull the Pin already.